Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall-Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. Honored to be connecting in with you. And in June, we really like to work on how are we showing up in our life? How are we choosing to fully be seen? Or are we perhaps treating life a little bit like a dress rehearsal, meaning, well, they can shine. Next time I'll show up. Next time I'll fully bring all of who I am forward. I'll get to that someday. I'm going to encourage us to pay attention to how we are showing up. And I want to invite you to find some tools, find some ways that you can show up just a little bit more. Because today we have today. Tomorrow is not a promise. It's not a guarantee. So it really matters how we choose to show up today. And I want to invite you to be willing to fully show up. Take center stage. That's the theme for today is Summer Star, really fully showing up and shining, sharing out the amazing gift of who you are. And as I say that today and you drink that in for a moment, do you perhaps feel a little bit like, ooh, or shrinking back, or, well, I'll get to that later. I want to invite you to lean in. Today is your day. This is your time. And every moment, every day, it matters how you show up, who you're being, what you're echoing out in the world. Whether we realize it or not, we are always sharing out information, energy, moods, things that matter to us. We're echoing those things out. And I want to invite you to do so purposely, mindfully, in alignment with those things that matter most to you. And this can be if you're on the radio, if you're taking center stage, or it can even be when you're standing in line or stopped at a red light. What are you thinking about? How are you showing up? What sort of energy are you sharing with the world? Pay attention to that because we are far more powerful than we know. So let's choose to show up in a way that aligns with those things that matter most to each and every one of us. Now, our amazing guests that we have joining us today, I know you're going to love. We've had them on many times. They're some of my favorite people. If you're just meeting them today, I know you'll love them. If you are getting to hear from them again, I know that you're leaning in with a smile already. And both of these individuals are experts in showing up and continuing to share and continuing to shine. No matter what, I see them again and again continue to show up, continue to not only bring their brilliance forward, but they're showing up and helping others bring their brilliance forward as well. So we're going to get some great tips and insights and perspective that we can add to our toolbox to really help us show up and shine. So let's take a deep breath as we connect in mindfully and purposely. In through the nose, out through the mouth, like through a straw. We're mindfully, purposely, intentionally connecting in. And as you do so and you breathe deeply, reminding yourself that this is your time carved out just for you, giving you a moment, giving you an opportunity to just be. All those other things pulling at you can wait. This is your time. As you're breathing, close your eyes. Just remove all those distractions. Become fully present. Eyes closed. And I want you to think about as you're breathing in, all that serves out, that which no longer does, creating room and space for more. I want you to think about how are you showing up in life? Are you bringing everything that you are forward? Are you sharing that authentically, transparently with the world? Or is there something holding you back a little bit? Perhaps you need something to support you, because we all need support in life. It's not a solo journey. So what is it that you need today to help you show up and share and shine even more? What do you need today, real time? And just see. With curiosity, leaning in, eyes closed. We're not asking for hows, we're asking, or whys, we're asking what. What is it that you need today? Just receive that information. Beautiful. Take that information in. Let's take another deep breath. Eyes open, coming back into the room, fully present. Beautiful. So eyes open, fully present. I want you to take a moment and just write down what was laid on your heart. Write down what the information was when you took a moment to stop, pause, and listen. What is it that you need and are willing to receive, because you absolutely have choice? Beautiful. It's taking a moment, writing that down. And I'm going to go around our virtual room. And as I do so, I want to see what was laid on our guest's heart when they took a moment to pause and reflect on really showing up what was laid on their heart and spirit. With that, I'd love to start with you, Dr. Cheryl. What was laid on your heart?
Your talk reminded me of a phrase I like to think about: let your faith be stronger than your fear. But sometimes it's a little risky when we have to take that risk to show up who we are and be strong and confident that we are okay with that and good enough as we are.
I love that. I was taking a moment to write that down. It's such a good reminder about letting our faith be stronger than our fear and being willing to show up, because it's a choice. Mm-hmm. It doesn't just
and not
happen.
An easy one sometimes.
No, and it's one that we get to keep making. And I think that's important. Right. Thank you for sharing. I think that sometimes we look out in the world and we see the shiny people and we see how they show up, and we don't always see what it took to show up. We don't always see the choices behind the scenes, especially when they're in those transparent, authentic, maybe challenging spaces that they choose to still show up. Perfect in their imperfections, perfect in who they are, that we get to keep choosing to show up and let that be bigger than our fear or that holding us back. Thank you, Dr. Cheryl. Just such a good reminder, so timely. And Maureen, how about you? What was laid on your heart?
I'm going to flip the coin and go with looking for the magic. The magic within ourselves, the magic around us. And really just listening a little closer and observing. And that sparkle that really makes life matter. And it's within all of us to bring that forward.
I love that, reminding ourselves of the magic that it's within. It's not something outside of us. It's within us. That sparkle, that uniqueness, that perspective, that shine. And we can choose to bring that forward. Thank you, Maureen. Beautiful. And listeners, how about you? When we took a moment to stop and pause and listen, what was laid on your heart? As Dr. Cheryl has shared and Maureen has shared, how is that added to your perspective? How are you choosing to show up? How are you choosing to take those next steps? How is it in alignment with who you are? As we get ready to go to our first commercial break, I want to encourage you to stay present. Resist that urge to go cross things off the to-do list. Stay present and really reflect on what is speaking to your heart and to your spirit. And we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Follow Voice America at facebook.com/Voice America for juicy updates from your favorite radio shows and podcasts.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com and make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Voice America programs are now available on your favorite connected device, including Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. Through streams with Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, listening to your favorite show is as easy as saying the show name followed by the word podcast.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast.
If that doesn't work, try adding on TuneIn or on iHeartRadio or on Apple Podcasts.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and that opportunity to just be, to listen, to pause, to breathe. It's amazing when we take those moments, how it can reset our system. It can center us. It can expand our perspective, and it gives us an opportunity to hear that still small voice that sometimes we miss when we're moving so quickly. So we've built these pauses, these breaks throughout the show on purpose, by design, to support you. So when you hear those commercial breaks, those moments, what I want you to hear is it's an opportunity to process, to breathe, to receive everything that serves, to drink it in fully, to reflect on what is speaking to you, what is touching your heart, and breathe out what no longer serves. That will help you start to integrate real time what you're discovering and learning and hearing and exploring on today's show. Great way to leverage your time. I'm excited to introduce our first guest. She talked about magic in our opening segment. It's my privilege and honor to introduce her to you. Maureen Ryan Blake is the founder and CEO of a boutique social media agency specializing in influential interviews, executive coaching, and video content production. She is a #1 international best-selling author and compiler. She has interviewed over 200 best-selling authors and is passionate about helping you find your unique brand and share it out with the world. Please lean in. Warmly welcome the powerful and dynamic and visible Maureen Ryan Blake. Welcome.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. Excited to have you joining us. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Always a pleasure, Rebecca. And good to be back.
Great to have you back. And I wanted to start with, why is this work of helping people in their social media and their visibility and interviewing, why is that work personally so important to you?
Because everyone has a story, and people fascinate me, and working with someone who also recognizes our brilliance, our special magic that we often don't see ourselves. I've leaned into that, seeing the magic within my client and knowing how to bring it forward, even when they don't see it or know it's even there. That's fun.
Do you find that is often the case, that people are so close to themselves, they don't see their brilliance, they don't see their magic?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because we get busy, right? We get busy in our relationships, and as women, and as a mother, we're complicated, and we adapt, and we become the support, even when we're in our other operating systems and who we are naturally. So with that journey to consistently remind ourselves of our magic and surround ourselves with those that see us, those mirrors, is part of the maintenance. So yeah, no, I definitely, we lose our magic as it gets distributed. So we get to be reminded that it's there.
Reminded, and even have it reflected to us so we can see what I think we don't see sometimes. Like, we're in that picture frame, we're part of it, we can't see what it looks like from the outside. And that's where I think it's so brilliant to have someone like you, someone outside of ourselves, to be able to show and remind us, yes, absolutely, of our magic, and to help reflect it, help us see what is unique and special and powerful about us. And so I love that about the work that you do. And one of the themes we're talking about today is Summer Star, really showing up powerfully in our life, not holding back, not a dress rehearsal. This is the main event, showing up, taking center stage. What, in your opinion, are the key elements of being a summer star in our own life?
Well, so first of all, I have very few rules, but the first rule, if we're not having fun, don't do it. And that's in your life, and especially in summertime. The other is that have fun with it. Have fun with what you do. Your audience wants to get to know you, but at the same time, stay consistent and keep the quality up with the production, right? But just lean into, when you enjoy, it shows, and that's what the audience will engage with.
I love it. Absolutely true. I remember way back in college, this was a long time ago, I remember one of the classes I took, and it was about speaking, a speech class. And I remember the professor sharing that he said there's nothing more painful to watch or experience than someone on stage who's having a miserable time. Everyone in the audience feels it. They're rooting for them, and they start to feel uncomfortable. It sets this weird tone. But when that person up there is having fun, when they're engaging, when they're excited, that reflects on the audience as well. And they're excited and they lean in because they feel that pain and that discomfort. They also feel that excitement and that joy. And I know that shifted something for me, and it helped me lean into being on stage in a joyful way, talking about things that mattered to me, that were exciting to me, and it shifted being in this center stage, in a sense that I could support my listeners, I could support my audience by being joyful, by being authentic, by sharing those things that mattered to me when I was in that space, not sharing my discomfort in being there. Any thoughts you'd add to that?
Yeah, no, and the piece that it gets messy's fun, not drama, but messy's fun. Messy's fun, joyful's fun, And be authentic, be you. Particularly, this is the other big advocate I am for my clients and in my content is on the backdrop of AI. Oh, be you. The human element is so what people are craving. So just have fun, get ice cream on your nose, and just enjoy. That's what summer's all about.
I love it. We get to be a little messy. We get to be authentic. We get to have fun and bring that joy. So talking a little bit about authenticity, how does that tie into that? Why is that important? Why does that matter in how we're showing up in the world?
Well, so authenticity, getting back to the sparkle and magic, they're the audience, right? And I always, lean into the analytics and having the science behind what we do. But the piece that someone is waiting to bring forth what you have, the way you have it, and only you can bring it, that's your authentic self. And the other is the imposter syndrome, or people saying, but I'm not bringing anything new, or maybe I'm just, I'm not the expert. Bringing in what you love and then bringing it in just the way that you get to be is enough, and it's more than enough. So that's that authentic magic that is so crucial. And people are waiting. The world is hurting. So it's not about you. Go be you so others you can bring others forward. Continue the work.
Beautiful. And how does this bringing our unique self forward, helping so that we can help others, lift each other up, how does that help us create engaging and authentic content? So as we're showing up, as we're sharing, how do we harness that so we can share it out with the world in a way that makes a positive difference?
Well, okay, so there is a continuum that we start with. Oh, my goodness, the whole journey. Start with those people that you trust and reflect your magic, right? That's always where it begins. And within that playful place that we're better together and our energies are growing, that when you're bringing yourself forward, don't be hung up on the I have to do this, or I'm not sure where I'm going. Again, it's the messy. It's a process. It's a year process to bring someone forward from not having a channel to bringing them forward, because it's the process of them getting to know themselves on the backdrop of what people are asking for, and there's the gap. And that's what we really do is allowing the client to continue standing in the trust of themselves. So as they continue building that trust of their voice, we then bring them to step it out and trust it with the world. And that's what I do.
Beautiful. And I know that one of the things, so that's such a powerful way that you help your clients, those that you are working with, really come forward and be seen authentically and powerfully and impactfully. I also know that I believe you have a new show that you have in the works as well. So I'd love for you to take a moment and share about that. So everyone, you heard it here first.
Oh, wonderful. And so then I'm going to be live after this so you guys can get a taste. But so if you've been following me, I've moved, right? And that was the essence of my first co-compiling experience with the amazing Rebecca. By the way, we have a book coming out called Visibility in August to return to the updated story and have my chapter in that. But I moved to Little Rock, Arkansas from the girl from Brooklyn, and I've fallen in love with its magic, with nature and the slowing down to really being in its bounty. So I have 5 dogs and 18 ducks, and so I'm having a show called Maureen's Duck World. We'll be streaming on Twitch, so it'll be a continuous live stream, having that relaxed place that you can just come and watch the ducks. And then I will be having the rehash as I step in, and then a weekly show on YouTube and other platforms where it's Survivor meets Viva Pinata, and it's the daily drama of the ducks, who they are, their personality, their relationships, and how magical they are. And I'm bringing that forward to the world. So again, it's Maureen's Duck World. Mm-hmm. And it'll be streaming on Twitch. The link is in the, should have that. If not, go to my YouTube channel, Maureen Brian Blake, easy peasy. And check it out. And then the big launch will be July 1. I'm so excited.
How fun. I love it. I'm excited to hear. And I know how much you love those ducks, and I get to hear some of the stories. So I know that it will be a show that people will enjoy and interact with. So just beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Excited for that. Everyone, you heard it here first, launching July 1st, Maureen's beautiful show. Well, I just appreciate all that you have shared with us today, Maureen, about really being authentic and becoming that star in our life, being willing to share the amazing gift of who we are, our magic, from inward out to the world. And as we go to our first commercial break, or a second, I should say, my goodness, the show goes quickly, the second commercial break, I want to encourage everyone to stay present and really listen and hear and receive what is speaking to your heart and spirit. See what you might want to add to your toolbox. And we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
A little birdie told me Voice America is on X. Follow us at Voice America TRN.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Have you become a member yet? Sign up now to become a member of Voice America. It's always free and easy. Plus, you get to take advantage of some great member benefits. Get unlimited access to millions of hours of on-demand content across all of our channels. Keep track of your favorite episodes, shows, and hosts in your own customizable library. Find out what shows you might be interested in based on your favorites. Plus, you get insider access with our newsletter. Membership gives you more. Sign up at voiceamerica.com and click register at the top right.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, an opportunity to stop, pause, listen, and really drink in all that serves and supports you. We have been talking about really taking center stage. How are we fully showing up in our life, really being seen? And one of the aspects I think it's important that we look at as well is how are we looking at ourselves and money? Are we standing in center stage with that as well? I recently learned about a new way that you can approach your financial picture, and I wanted to share a little bit about you. I felt like it was very timely for the conversation that we're having today. It's called Bank on Yourself. Are you being misled? Wall Street Journal tells you to defer paying your taxes by saving in a 401k or IRA because you're going to retire in a lower tax bracket. But if that were true, why are so many retirees who followed that advice finding themselves in the highest tax bracket of their lives? It's time to get the truth and discover a better way to grow and protect your money. Bank on Yourself is the proven retirement plan alternative banks and Wall Street are desperately hoping you never hear about. It gives you guaranteed predictable growth and retirement income, built-in inflation protection, and peace of mind. So with Bank on Yourself, your plan doesn't go backwards when the markets tumble, but your principal and growth are locked in. Your money is guaranteed to grow by a larger dollar amount every single year in both good times and bad. And you'll know the minimum guaranteed value of your retirement savings on the day you plan to tap into them and at every point along the way. Learn the secret to safely and predictably growing your wealth every single year. Enjoy tax-free retirement income and gain control of your money. Just go to bankonyourself.com/word, that's WORD, and we'll send you a free report about the retirement plan alternative that lets you bypass banks and Wall Street and take back control of your financial future. That's bankonyourself.com/word for your free report, bankonyourself.com/word. I encourage you to go in and download this free report and see if this is something that would resonate and serve you and perhaps help you step into that center stage of your financial picture for now and into the future. I hope that you have had some great tips and suggestions and ideas that have spoken to your heart and spirit as you reflect on our opening segment, on our conversation with Maureen, as you reflect back on your notes of what spoke to your heart and to your spirit as we stopped and leaned into how can you, or what is it you need to help you move into center stage of your life. As we bring on our next guest, you'll have an opportunity to take this even deeper and listen for those things that touch your heart and spirit. Listen for the wisdom and insight that you're going to hear from our amazing next guest. It's my privilege and honor to introduce Dr. Cheryl Lentz to you. She is a multi-award-winning publisher of the internationally recognized Refractive Thinkers series. It's a collaboration of over 200 contributing doctoral scholars from around the world. She's a #1 international best-selling author, published over 60 times with 26 awards and growing. She's an accomplished university professor, TEDx speaker, editor, and consultant. She's absolutely passionate about failing faster so you can succeed sooner. Please lean in and welcome the dynamic, powerful, and inspiring Dr. Cheryl Lentz. Welcome!
Hello, everybody. Always a pleasure to be here, Rebecca. Thanks so much for having me.
I'm honored and thrilled to have you joining us, as always. And I wanted to start with this. I read your credentials, and this is just a piece of them. There are so many amazing things you've done in the world, and yet one of the things you're most passionate about teaching and speaking around leadership and failure. Do you mind sharing why are you so passionate about failure and leadership, and why is that something you lean into?
It's very interesting that I make a college professor career out of failure. It's kind of an oxymoron, but part of teaching is the ability to learn from what we don't quite get right. And if we look at the idea of what is an expert, is no more than someone who's failed so many times that by the time they hire you, you get it right the first time for them. Malcolm Gladwell says it takes us 10,000 hours to get it right, and I think it's really amazing that we don't like that F word, and it really sticks in our craw beyond words, and it's sometimes even painful. And I want to shift that to be able to know that failure is a gift, not a foe, and I'd like everyone to make friends with it because it can do some amazing, magical things like our guest Maureen.
I love it. And then it can help us move forward and grow and learn. And you're right, it just has this weird stigma that we get uncomfortable and squiggly and we don't want to fail. And yet there's such a power when we get up again, when we move through, that can happen. It's not the failure, it's how we respond to it. What would you add to that?
How you show up is how, it would change how other people show up. So I know when I introduce the idea of this F word that really just stigmatizes everybody, and I start showing them a different perspective. That's my role as their faculty, as their professor, as their consultant, as their coach. It's just to help them see something a little bit differently. But you're right, there are words like money and failure, even magic, that we have predisposed ideas for. I invite them to think of things differently and to see failure as a way of learning and growing, not as a way of painfully shutting down and not shining to show the world what they really can do when they get up. Because it's not about how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up afterwards.
Yes. Oh, thank you. I love it. And you have brought forward so many amazing things and continue to help us shift our thinking around leadership and around failure and helping take that stigma away. I know you're also starting another adventure that you're getting ready to bring forward. And I'd love for you to share a little bit. It's titled Being a Good Human Podcast. Can you share what's going on with this?
Oh, this is amazing. I've heard so many people wondering why it is so difficult in this current climate that everybody is so negative, everybody is hostile, everybody's got all this energy, and I want to change things like Maureen does. And I look at folks going, do you know the research says it's easier to frown, it's easier to be sad, it's easier to be mad, it's easier to be not so pleasant than it is to try and change the idea of what does it really mean to be a good human. And I think manners are the first thing to go, and it's so simple. Smile. Be gracious, be kind, be loving, and those are words that we don't hear enough of. And so I keep hearing this in the wind. Matter of fact, I just heard something again from Steve Farber this morning. It makes me chuckle. Being a good human, apparently, if we can learn to be a not-so-good human, we can relearn how to be a great human. And I'm on a quest now to see if I can't change minds a little bit.
So when is this coming forward, or has it already? Share a little bit about that so we can tune in and together learn how to be great humans. I love it.
Brad Walsh and I will be doing the series, and it will start in a couple of weeks. We're still doing all the production behind the scenes right now, and we're kind of testing the waters to see what it is. But after everyone and their brother is talking about it, I think it's going to take off from the fact of just learning to be your authentic self and what it means to be a human being, right? I mean, Mother Nature has given us the tools. Let's enjoy life. Let's have that magic and how we show up instead of having that drudgery and that work and that negativity. Learn some of these things. So.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, we'll be staying tuned and looking forward to seeing that come forward as we get to all grow together. And you shared a little bit about this, but I wanted to see if there's anything you wanted to add, especially in light of our theme today of showing up in our own life. You know, how are we showing up? How are we shining? What inspired this direction and stepping into being part of this project?
Well, part of it is I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek, and I love how he is so candid and so available and so willing to be vulnerable, and so is Brené Brown and all of the others, that it's easy when life goes right. It is not easy when it doesn't, and to be willing in front of millions of people to be able to share when things aren't going so right and to be braced under pressure and to be able to willing to have those difficult conversations, I think that's what we need to spend more time of, and to realize we need to provide examples of what do we do when life isn't quite doing what we expected. The more we can share with others, the more they can show that if it's one person can make it possible, then the rest of us can do it. And it's so much easier to follow in someone else's footsteps than our own.
I love that. We don't have to learn all the hard things on our own. we can actually
exactly
learn
hold someone's hand along the way, right?
Exactly, or follow their footsteps. So we don't have to break new ground all the time on our own, that we can really lift each other up and allow each other into that vulnerable space and that authentic space. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you sharing. And I know you've got a number of irons in the fire. So you also have an upcoming Refractive Thinker anthology focused on artificial intelligence. And so I'd love for you to take a moment and share a little bit about that so we know some of the things to be watching for.
Absolutely, and thank you. It's our 25th anniversary edition. Hard to believe that series has been around for so long, and we are going to be looking at the wonders of artificial intelligence. And I know a lot of people, again, are afraid of a lot of these things, and we're going to see if we can't take some of those myths and some of those fears and share some of the things that we in academia have been doing in the research that shows it. It's really not something, it's just a new way around the mulberry bush. So I'm really excited with my colleagues, doctoral scholars from around the globe that will be joining us, and we're hoping to have this out by the end of June.
Oh, so exciting. And one of the things I was just thinking for people who this is a new concept for, do you mind sharing a little bit of why you created the Refractive Thinker series and why it's so important to bring that information forward and make it accessible?
Oh, absolutely. When I was a first college professor, my first 7 years, I taught critical thinking, and I always thought it was incomplete because most people will say thinking is inside the box and critical thinking is outside the box. And I started asking, what is beyond the box? And nobody really talked about that, and that's where refractive thinking was born. And I think that's where we as doctoral scholars live, is we are the what's up, what's next, that holy curiosity that Einstein talks about. And this is why this has been so important for me, is to get research out of the off the coffee table, out of academia, and into the hands of people who can actually use it, rather than keeping all of those secrets to ourselves, which is often what happens in research and academia. I don't want to just keep it in academia. I want the world to know about it. And we academics, we tend to do research, so we're just trying to bridge that gap and connect everyone to know what we do and share a little bit about it, particularly when it comes to things like artificial intelligence that can be just a little bit scary for some folks. So we're going to take the scare and the fear out of some of these topics and give you options, and just like you like to say, choices. You make better choices when you're better informed.
Exactly. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it. And as we reflect back on our conversation today, is there anything on your heart and spirit that you want to add or share about how we can show up in our life more fully, and if and why that's important?
I think it's the idea of connecting with other human beings. Life is struggling sometimes. Life is not easy, and it's not going to change what happens when we connect with someone else, but boy, will it be a whole lot easier, and our burden's a lot lighter when we can have that connection. It does take a village, that sense of community, and when we connect when things aren't going well and are willing to risk not sharing with people when things don't go well. That was something I learned from my students long ago, is they don't want the polished Dr. C. They want the show us how it's done when you're less than your authentic self, because bad things happen to you too. And when I can show them an example, it's like, wow, if you can do it, I can do it. And so it's just being ahead of them in the process and offering them other choices that maybe their journey will be a little easier because they can see the examples we offer them.
And showing them both in those high, shiny places as well as in the challenging times. And the challenging times, absolutely, I think, are what people crave. Like when we're in those hard spots, we want to know that we can move forward and we're not alone, and there's a path, and we can follow it, or we can have that companionship, in a sense, people, that community come alongside us. So beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Dr. It's so nice when someone can hold your hand along the way, right?
Exactly. And cheer you on and remind you of your magic and your greatness, because I think we can forget that in those hard moments.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Dr. Cheryl. I appreciate it. I'm excited about all the wonderful things that you're bringing forward, and Maureen's launching. Like, it's an exciting show. I hope everybody wrote those things down. When we come back, we're going to share everybody's contact information as well as some final tips. So make sure to have your paper and pen ready. Enjoy these 2 minutes, and we'll continue our conversation shortly.
Voice America is on your favorite smart speaker. If you have Alexa or Google Home, go ahead and give us a try.
Hey Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast on TuneIn.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
You need to live up to your full potential. You've heard that for years, but now there's a channel to help you get there. Introducing the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Our listeners have told us that they want to be motivated, hear about success stories, and positive encouragement around the clock. And we've responded to you. The Voice America Empowerment Channel is the home of the world's top life coaches, entrepreneurs, and success experts. Listen to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's here at voiceamericaempowerment.com.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Find out what makes the most successful people tick. Keep listening to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. voiceamericaempowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and that opportunity to just pause and breathe and drink in all those things that serve. I hope you've written down a few things today and some of these tools and resources that are coming forward. It's always good to know things that are about to launch or come forward. You can add that to your list. So I know Maureen shared about her show that's about to launch in series. Dr. Cheryl has as well as her book that's coming out, focused in on AI technology. And I know Maureen mentioned our book Visibility Today, and that's coming out in August, which is just around the corner, August 6th, if you want to mark that on your calendar. I'm very excited about all of these tools and resources that are designed to walk beside you. And behind the scenes, we were talking about magic and we were talking about showing up and shining. And we decided we were all wearing crowns today. So I'm hoping that you heard that crown energy, and we had magic wands. We were bringing magic. So there was all this conversation behind the scenes as we are shining and wearing our magic shoes and just really having fun behind the scenes as we come together to create this with you. And each of us, including each and every one of our listeners, you get to bring the magic. You get to find that way that makes you smile, that helps you shine, that is your own way of spreading that magic, of spreading the gifts and talents of who you are with the world. So if you look at the world as a stage, you get to choose how you show up, how you share. And the biggest gift I believe that you can give the world is more of you, the authentic, real you, being willing to share that and trust the world with a little bit more of you is such a beautiful, powerful, and transformational gift. And it's just choosing to be more of who you are, being mindful and purposeful of how you share out. Pay attention to those things that give you joy, that make your heart sing, and be willing to share that out with the world. be willing to hold that mirror up for others so that they can see their magic too and remind them of their greatness, especially in that vulnerable space of failures. Reminding people they can get up again, they can shine, show them how many times they've already gotten up, and they are so much stronger. Each of you are so much stronger and more resilient than you know. And sometimes we're not able to discover that until we go through those challenging times. So embrace that. Remind yourself of the greatness that each of you carry and be willing to share the amazing gift of who you are. Now, I'm going to go around our room and have each of our experts share their contact information. And this is by design. I want you to be able to connect. I want you to be able to follow each other and have them walk beside you on your journey. So with that, Dr. Cheryl, what is the best way for us to connect and go deeper?
I have my website is drcheryllentz.com, and so is my email, drcheryllentz@gmail.com. Easy peasy.
Oh, I love that. We can find all your contact information as well as send you a message, which is beautiful. I'm going to come back to Maureen and just see, Maureen, what is the best way for us to connect in?
I am here. Maureen Ryan Blake, Production Media, or just Maureen Ryan Blake on YouTube. Search me up. All our links are there. And subscribe to the channel. We books, authors, and bestsellers is the podcast. And get to see us in action. And as the Duck Show comes on board, you'll have all links to that, too. So, Maureen Ryan, Blake, easy peasy. I love that, too, Dr. Cheryl.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing, both of you, and making yourself available today to share your wisdom, experience, and insight with our listeners, as well as the opportunity for them to be able to connect in with you as well. As I'm reflecting on our show and looking at really showing up, taking center stage. And we've talked about how it's a choice. I used to have a cat. We call her the Tada cat. And she had this really interesting behavior where every time she entered a room, she made an interest. And she'd wait at the door and pause in this dramatic pose, waiting to be seen. And then I would see her name was Nina, and I would say, well, hi, Nina. And then she went and was at peace and happy about her cat business. And she did this time and time again. And I thought, well, how interesting would that be to be that and try that? So I got all dressed up, fancy, waited for my husband to come home. And then once he was settled, I made this grand entrance into the room, and I dramatically posed, waiting for him to see me. And waiting. He was distracted. And so I cleared my throat. And I said, hi, honey. And he goes, oh, hi. Still needed a little training. I wasn't getting the response I was looking for. So I go, don't I look good? And he goes, oh, honey, you look beautiful. And it lifted my spirits. I'm like, okay, great, that we can work on that a little bit. So periodically, I would do this. And then one day I heard this creaking coming up the stairs, and I kind of ignored it because I was focused doing a project. And I slowly glanced up, and there's my husband, all dressed up, leaning against the door jamb with a hat on, and he does a little nod at me. Like I do the dramatic pose, he does a little nod. And I go, oh, hi, honey. He goes, don't I look good? And I said, yes, honey, you look amazing. And I found how much joy we were able to bring each other, just showing up, bringing some playfulness in. So I wondered, when I had those hard days, if I did that too. And I looked in the mirror and dramatically greeted myself and said, today was going to be an amazing day. Aren't you wonderful and amazing? And I found when I chose to start that day, especially when it was a difficult day, a challenging moment, in that moment, making eye contact dramatically in the mirror, I could shift the energy in a moment and lift my day in spirit. So I'm going to encourage you as you go out into the world, bring that Tada energy. Bring that extra oomph. Be willing to choose to share, choose to shine, choose to echo out love and joy and laughter and smiles it makes a difference, heart by heart, life by life. Be willing to choose to bloom where you're planted and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone, and I'll talk to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, with a replay on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Variety Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.